Hello all, in this Python programming video, this time I'm going to cover statements of conditions, conditional statements, and a condition is basically typically a check, whether the statement is true or false, and upon the outcome of that is a task performed. So we'll go ahead and go through that and let's get started. So as I mentioned before, conditional statements is statements that guide the program, making decisions based on the conditions encountered by the program itself. And typically there are three primarily ways we do this. It is the if else, or if else condition. And these can become simple or complex as one needs it to be done. So let's look at these. So the if statement, most simple decision making statement, and certain condition is true as the key, a block of statement is executed. Otherwise, nothing happens. So what does that look like? So as an example of the conditional if statement, I have here two variables with two distinct values. These are 4 and 4, and then my if conditional statement says if the variable A is equal to variable B, then do this. So we're looking and checking if it is a true statement. So if we would do this on a real time, I have here the same exact one we were just looking at, and let me go ahead and run it so that you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and run this, and it's going to check it, and basically it's checking, as I said, these two conditions, or two variables, and it's saying if it's equal, print this out. We have a match, and you can see here that we do indeed have a match, and that it does print out as we requested it. So that's an example of the if condition. So if we move on to the next step, is usually the if else condition. So similar to the if statement checking for true, the else aspect of it will check it if it's false. So you can use a statement with the else. So in other words, if you have, if this is true, do this, else do that. It's a binary type of step, one or the other. And if we look at the Python code as an example, we see that we just added an else condition on this conditional statement as a whole. So again, if these two variables are equal, I want you to do this, or else do this. So let's go ahead and run this one as well, and we can see what it might look like. So I'm going to change one of these variable values. So now it's going to look at the first condition, and it'll say, does A equal B? Well, the answer is no, it does not. So it's going to go to the very next line, or the next condition, else, print do not. So let's go ahead and run this in real time, and we'll see what it looks like. And we see here that it did point out the next conditional output, which is we do not have a match. And that's exactly what we were looking for. So next is the third option, a little bit more robust, is the if else. So the if statement is again looking for it's true. The else is our default if it's false. But the else if can also do additional controlling to check if it's true. So what does this look like? This one here we have again two variables with two different values, but this time on our first one we're checking does A equal B? If so, print out. Else if, notice that I have two different conditions in here, so you can add many else if clauses or conditions within the full statement. So here if we look at this, let's read it and see what it shows. Does 4, basically we're looking at variables A and B, the values of 4 and 10. So it's asking, does 4 equal 10? Then print this out. No, it does not. Does 4 less than 10? And then if not, it goes to the next. Or is 4 greater than 10, 4 less than 10? And then my else is the default, meaning if it does not meet any of these criteria, the else at the end of it will catch whatever it is. I always like to think of it as a visual, whereas you have, let's say, a basketball in your hand and you have multiple basketball goals on tiers and you're throwing it. Is that basketball going to hit the first basket, second, third, and fourth? It will go down layers and layers until a match is made, and then the outcome of whatever you're trying to do will be produced. So let's look at this in real time as an example so that we have a little better idea. We have all of this as we've seen before. I'm going to go ahead and run this. And here we see that it's going to run, and it says we have one less than the other, meaning that 4 is less than 10. So I hope this video helped, and I hope it provided some insight on condition and conditional statements and what you can do with that.